Well, hello everyone, I'm Larry and you're watching St. Nick's Farms on YouTube. And Jenny says I need some help. And she's probably right, but when you don't have any help, you work with number one and do the things that you can do. So let me just recap briefly where we're at on the building project. You can probably see behind me, we've got all the posts up. That was the first thing. And then our first major thing. And then the second thing was putting up the LVL beams. And so we've got all them in place. Got a top plate then on the top of the LVL beam. And that was kind of the second major progress step. And then now what we're working on is, if you can see from behind me here overhead, we're putting up, or I'm putting up, the second floor joist. And these are about 11 foot off the ground to where they're going. These are 2x6 by 12s. I'm placing them on 16-inch centers, and so that's, I guess, where I really start needing some help. But since I don't have any, you do what you can do. And so that's what I'm going to show you on this video today, is what we're doing to get those 2x12 by 16 floor joists into place up 11 foot overhead. Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. If you like the video, be sure to give us a thumbs up. Let's get started. I'm going to get started by hooking up to this contraption. And yes, I called it a contraption. You may have seen this in one of our previous videos. This is my lift boom attached to my pallet forks. And this is what I use to lift well, it's what I've used to lift a lot of different things into place. I'll tell you about this in just a little bit. I think I'll go ahead and go down and put my tool pouch on, because from this point on I'm going to need it in measuring, sawing, and so I'll just go ahead and put my tool pouch on and have what I need available then. This top 2x was really bowed and would have had too much crown in it, so I'm going to use it for my short pieces that I might need. So this one here, let me explain this first, and then I'll demonstrate it. I've got the straps situated on here where I can get two different holding points, and what that does, it allows me to be able to kind of somewhat balance the joist in moving it around, as opposed to having it over one place and trying to balance it by just moving it back and forth. So that having been said, I'll try to show you. First of all, let me determine the crown, and it will be up like that. Crown being, if the board has got any kind of bow in it, we'll put that crown up so that whenever we put weight, or when it gets weight on it, if it settles any, it'll settle away from the crown. So what I do now is measure this board just to and again, these are 16 feet. So of course half of that is 8 foot. I'll mark that point there. That'll also, there's really no way of questioning, once I get this hooked up, there's no way of questioning the crown. But then I'll take this center point here and put it in the center. Take my clamp, this is just a regular wood C-clamp. I'm going to take it down here. Clamp it on the board here, or on the joist. Then I'll go around up here and do the same thing with the other clamp. Again, just kind of putting that little knot there in the middle, moving the clamp out to where the strap is somewhat extended, fully extended. Put the clamp in place. Tighten it up. Don't have to really tighten it a lot. Just more or less snug it against it, because once it gets on the board like that, it's not going to come off. So now let's raise this and see how good a job I've done centering it. Well, as you can see, it's pretty level. So I'll move it down to where I'm sawing the board to length. this is kind of always the fun part, is having my board oriented, swinging like this to my saw benches. And as you can see, it likes to swing around on me, so I usually will use the benches to get it to go back where it needs to be, and then hopefully it'll stay till I can get it laid down on the benches. There we go. First thing I do when I get it on the benches, and if I call these sawhorses, then just look over me, because that's what I call them. The first thing I do is to create a clean edge on one end, and I cut off no more than 1/2 inch. Okay, and just to take a look at that, this creates a perfectly square end on this end. Then I go back down to the other end. This is the end here that I'll be cutting to the length that I need, and the length that I need, because it measures exactly 16 feet, then the outside perimeter joist makes up 3 inches of that, so 16 feet is 192 inches. I'll be cutting 3 inches off of that, so I'll be cutting 189 inches in length. So let's get that measurement. Hang the end of the ruler, tape measure that is, over that end. And right here is my 189 inches. I always like to take my square. Usually I use the speed square, but in this case, because it's so wide, I like to take the square and mark me a straight line all the way across. Even though I'm using the square to guide the saw, I still just kind of like having that line to make sure that I haven't moved anything. All right, there's my next joist. 189 inches, 16 feet less 3 inches. So let's head over now with this and see if we can get it up where we need it. There's one thing real quick I want to show you. Let me go ahead and crank the tractor and raise the board up so I can show you what I do next. You know how it seems that things are always in the way? That pile of dirt or pile of rock is in the way. If it wasn't for that rock, I'd have my sawhorses over somewhere else, and I'd go from here right into the building. But with that pile of rock here, and I've not taken the time to move it, don't know where I want to put it, but with that pile of rock here, I have to go all the way around and come down between the greenhouse and the tractor shed and come up into the building. So with that in mind, in order to keep this board from moving too much on me, I take this strap and hook it through this strap just kind of cinch it up a little bit. That way it'll hold it straight as I go between the buildings. So now let's head over to the building site. I'm experimenting with connecting my microphone to my camera via Bluetooth, and I don't really know what the range is on it, but I hope that it's reaching. This is always the tricky part here, is maneuvering between the poles coming in. Once I get past those two poles, I can kind of shift around a little bit. And let me stop right here, because at this point I've got to take the strap off of the bolt off of the joist. got already marked here where the joist goes, so hopefully now I can get it straightened up and in position at that point. Just a little bit low, so I'm going to put a nail underneath it to raise it up. Okay, yeah, that's good. I'm just going to put one nail in this end. Now that secures this end in place. In fact, if the bottom will go up okay, I'll go ahead and put, I'm just going to go ahead and put all the nails in this end. I've been putting 6. Okay, now I have to move my scaffolding over to the other side and work on that one. So let's get that moved over, or get the scaffolding moved over now. I didn't want to bore you by showing you moving all that scaffolding around. It's pretty straightforward, but I bought some wheels off of Amazon that go on the bottom. These are 8-inch wheels, and they have done a real good job on this gravel out here. Being able, this is an older set of scaffolding, and it's really heavy, but having these wheels on it make it a lot easier to move the scaffolding around. Get everything in place, get my nail guns, got plenty of nails in it, and get over here and see if we can slide this joist into place. Again, don't know if you're able to see it or not, but I've got the location of this joist marked, and it's a little bit tight, so I'm going to have to see if I can knock it on over some. Okay. Get a nail. I'm putting a nail in the top where it fits best because it's a little bit out down at the bottom. I'm going to try to twist this joist into place, but let's get this nailed first. Well, there you have it. And that's the reason I guess Jenny says I need some help. And I guess I do, but when you don't have help, you figure out ways of doing things. And hey, I've only got 27 more to go. I know it's a little bit time consuming, but hopefully the good Lord will bless me with the time to be able to do what I need to do. And then we can get the decking on this first floor. I've got to get some bracing put up because adding all these joists to this center section is really adding a lot of weight to it, and I don't want to take a chance on these poles buckling. I checked on the compression strength of a 6x6 by, these are about 10 foot out of the ground, and the compression strength is somewhere between 18 and 20,000 pounds compression, but the challenge is possibly buckling, and so that's the reason I've got to get some bracing put up. I'll probably put a little bit of bracing up next. That is next before I put any more joist up, just to make sure that that we don't have any problem there. But thank you so much for joining us here today on St. Nick's Farms. I really do appreciate it. If you liked the video, be sure to give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel. That's an honor to us for you to subscribe. And so until next time, folks, this is Larry. If you find some help on the side of the road somewhere, just send them my way. See you next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Take care.